This nibble originally aired on RSBANDB Update, episode 848. Pointy Sticks Be Sus. Enjoy.
First blush. For me, without doing the high-end PVM take on this yet, I mean, this armor is for the most hardcore of the skillers. They now have access to close to best-in-slot armor to animate dead tank their way to learning bossing, getting through AFK Slayer, or challenging quest boss, whatever it is. And I think that's great.
Because this is on par with Acto, right?
Yes, and we'll talk about that comparison. They said that in terms of health and armor values, it's on par with Acto. And one of the things I meant to look up, which is truly unimportant, is that the health bonus on Acto is higher than the health bonus on regular Raids armor. I think it actually has tier 92 health bonus. Unimportant. It's a small extra little bit. If this has it, that's cool. It doesn't need to be exclusive to it. Depending on how expensive this is, I think it's going to be a great thing for learning mechanics at a new boss, because you get much less punished if you're using animate dead tanking with high-level armor like this. And I think the other thing to talk about is that 3-piece set effect, that extra earth spells. That is an interesting one, and they explained this by saying, yes, we gave you really powerful fire and water spells, but if you want to tank stuff, earth. And if you remember a few weeks ago, they threw a nice little patch note in there that they had increased the damage of the Aurora spells to scale up to 99%. Well, the Earth Aurora, Emerald Aurora, the passive effect on that spell is that it stacks up to 5 times, and each one of those stacks decreases damage taken by 1%. So effectively, this is saying that if you're using Emerald Aurora, we'll give you the 5% damage reduction from Emerald Aurora, but we'll also give you an additional 6% magic reduction and 4% melee reduction, which is just more incentive to use that spell. So that now becomes, if you really want to be tanky, that's the spell you use.
That's 23% magic right there.
Correct. And they don't, I don't believe they stack additively in that way. I think they probably stack multiplicatively.
Okay, but still, that's
which would be like 22
number.
And change.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is pretty healthy. On top of tier 90 armor, so 99 defense will give you 9.9% reduction. Tier 99 armor will give you another 9%, or tier 90 armor will give you another 9% reduction. And tier 90 shield will give you another 9% reduction. Those three are additive. That's 27.9% reduction. Plus the 5%. With the 5% reduction on top of that, with the 24% reduction on top of that. Just wearing this armor and using that spell will give you a pretty hefty 40-some% damage reduction off the cuff without, given you're wielding a shield. So you also have defensives and other things going on. It's hefty. This is definitely going to be good tank armor. But the question kind of for, I guess, our high-tier PVM listeners, the handful that are out there, the people that are interested, the comparison we'll make for this, obviously, is the Raids armor sets. And the issue, of course, with Raids armor sets is that they're best in slot, but they're only from relatively challenging group content. Especially the Octo version takes basically a full year of raiding, unless you get lucky. Usually about 100 to 150 raids to get a full set of Octo armor, and that's a high barrier to entry for armor that you don't use a lot of places.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Raids armor really quick. All versions of the Raid armor, the Octo and non-Octo versions, have, if you're wearing 3+ pieces, they have a chance to reset all of the cooldowns of your defensive abilities when you get hit. That chance is higher with 5 pieces than with 3, but realistically 3 pieces is enough to get that consistently. That allows you, if you are an experienced tank, to change your rotation in the middle of your rotation to reuse defensive abilities to get extra damage reduction. That alone probably makes the Octo armors and the Raids armors slightly better than this new armor in the hands of an experienced tank.
But it's going to be a question, like you said, a barrier to entry at that point.
It's a question of barrier to entry, and so you like people that are getting Octo armor are probably experienced tanks, and so that makes sense. The other thing is that the Octo has a passive, which when you are wielding a shield, you get a small percent of that shield as an offhand equivalent. Effectively, 5 pieces of Octo with a tier 90 shield gives you the damage of a tier 45 offhand in addition. It's a nice little damage buff. It's not huge, but it's something. And so for solo content where you don't have somebody to stand behind the boss to get the additional damage from this, the Octo could be potentially higher damage.
Right.
With that said,
because that's dealing with the 5-piece or the 4-piece flank attack, right?
Correct. Yeah. So the comparison is the 4-piece flank attack. Passive. Which the way that will work is that the limited places where you want a person in tank armor, and you want, or you might want a person in tank armor, and you're going to be able to position the boss to stand behind it, this is going to be the best in slot armor for groups. Unfortunately, that list of places is pretty short. It's the Mazcab raids. It's large team Solak, large team Virago, hard mode Virago, and I should note only parts of the Virago fight, and parts of Angel of Death. And I don't really think of another place where you might use this. Maybe if you had a clan that was lower level and you wanted an experienced tank who wanted to just hold the fort for a really long time while their team had fun with the boss. Those kind of things. I mean, again, it's great armor. It's going to be more accessible. It's going to do a really good job. The other thing is the 5-piece damage shield. On the stream, it sounds like this shield is going to be pretty darn hefty. We don't know how much it's going to be yet, but it sounds like it'll be pretty darn hefty. The thing to note is that you do have to fall below 20% hit points for it to activate. Yep. A lot of base tank. So that's like for your general content, that's great. Like that'll get used. For base tanking scenarios, if you're at high stacks for Angel of Death, if you're taking a ton of bomb damage from Virago, if you're getting slapped by Beastmaster or Yakamaru at high stacks, you're going to take well over 20% of your hit points every time you get hit. Beastmaster can do, without a defensive on, he can do a full hit bar through prayer, and the armor reduction and everything. So, there's a chance that this won't get tripped and you would just die. So it might be used. I mean, it's definitely one of those, like, when this activates, it's awesome.
Right, and
the rest
based
of the time,
based on what I see here from my perspective, this sounds kind of more like the oops, oh no, I'm taking too much damage kind of thing.
For sure. And like I say, Cryptbloom is going to be great a lot of places, and for people that have raid armor, you might end up just bringing 3 pieces of raid armor to switch into to get a defensive reset every once in a while, and then switch back, and kind of get the best of both of those things. And in that case, this armor is clearly best in slot.
You can find full episodes of RSBANDB Update right here on this YouTube channel. If you found this video useful or just enjoyed it, like and subscribe, or leave a comment.